Most people think muscle growth only happens when you train to absolute muscle failure. The last rep, the one where you really have to fight. But what if muscle failure actually slows down your muscle growth? So what actually builds muscle? That's what we want to look at today. And in fact, the reps that build muscle usually happen before muscle failure. There's a concept called effective reps model, and this one tries to explain exactly that. The idea is simple, and I will try to explain it in easy words for you. Just imagine, when you start a set, the first few reps usually just warm up your muscle. But throughout the set, basically when your muscle fatigues, your body is forced to recruit more and more muscle fibers. And roughly the last 3 to 5 reps before total muscle failure are the ones that build the most muscle. These ones create the biggest growth stimulus. So these are basically the effective reps in this model, which means something really important. It basically means you don't have to reach muscle failure. You just have to enter that effective zone. So in easy words, the goal is basically to accumulate effective reps without creating too much unnecessary fatigue. So training to failure works, no debate about that. But what's actually the problem with training to failure too often for people out there that already live a really hectic or stressful life? Taking every set to failure always gives you these effective reps, but it always comes with a little trade-off. Failure produces maximum fatigue, and fatigue doesn't only affect that single set. It affects the rest of your workout and maybe the rest of your day. And if you push that too far over the course of the whole week, the fatigue starts to accumulate. Think of it like sun exposure. If you stay in the sun for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing is going to happen, right? If you stay in the sun for 6 hours, you get a burn so bad that you can't leave the house for the next 2 weeks. The goal isn't maximum sun in one day. The goal is enough sun repeatedly over time. And training works exactly the same way. So where's the sweet spot in all of that? The sweet spot is training close to failure, or how I like to frame it, creating an honest enough effort. Not all the way to total failure in every single set. And you stop just a few reps short, you still get into that effective range. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of really hard training, but the fatigue by training that way will be way lower, which in the end means you can perform way more high quality sets in a single training session throughout your whole training week. And that is what actually is driving progress. Training to failure works, and depending on your goals, it makes total sense, but it's not always necessary. So what does actually work in real life for a man like you and me? We see this working in many different examples out there. And this is why endurance calisthenics, Emom work, circuits, grease to groove, and German volume training are so effective for muscle growth. And that's because we either do sets that are submaximal, but still in that effective range. Or, like in an Emom, we fatigue the muscle in the early sets to an extent that even submaximal sets become effective. Like in an Emom, where we do every minute on the minute for 20 minutes, 5 strict push-ups. The first 4 or 5 minutes are not going to do a lot. But from there, when the fatigue is building up, you might get into that effective range. And that's why we see so many calisthenics athletes out there looking so great, even though they are not following the bodybuilding standards. You're not getting a mass monster by training that way, but I think for most people watching that video, it's more about just building a lean, capable body. I will write that whole example into the comment section to make it easier to understand and follow along. The balance between stimulus and fatigue is exactly what a good program should do for you. You don't need endless exercise variations or the most complex programs. Do something where you feel like you can sustain it long term. You just need a simple structure that delivers enough stimulus consistently. You want a structure I follow to just try staying lean and capable and strong long term without living in the gym. You can check the description below. The foundation program is exactly built on these principles. All that said, train honestly hard, do something you can sustain long term and that fits your life. And if this video was helpful, guys, I appreciate every single like and comment below. It's helping me to grow Build Simple, and I'll see you in the next video.